You set goals, work hard, and push yourself every single day, but you still feel like you're running in place, watching others succeed while you stay stuck. What if you could unlock a mental switch that turns effort into effortless progress? In this video, I'll share 6 psychological upgrades used by Navy SEALs, Olympic athletes, and top performers that will rewire your mind for unstoppable momentum. I discovered these principles after studying peak performance psychology for 5 years and interviewing dozens of high achievers. What I found shocked me. Elite performers don't have superhuman willpower. They've simply upgraded their mental operating system. The problem is, most people are running outdated mental software from childhood, programmed for survival, not success. You're not lazy or unmotivated. You're just operating with factory settings that weren't designed for the life you want. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to upgrade your mind and become the unstoppable version of yourself. Let's dive in. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because everything you do flows from who you think you are. The identity shift is the process of changing your self-concept at the deepest level. Most people try to change their actions, but elite performers change their identity first. Instead of saying, "I want to be healthy," they become someone who is healthy. It's not a goal, it's who they are. Every decision filters through this new identity automatically. Research from Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck shows that identity-based change is 3.2 times more likely to stick than goal-based change. This works because your brain is hardwired to act consistently with your identity. It's called cognitive consistency theory. Your mind experiences psychological pain when your actions contradict who you believe you are. When you identify as a runner, skipping a workout feels wrong. When you identify as a learner, avoiding challenges feels uncomfortable. Your identity becomes your internal compass. First, decide who you want to become, not what you want to achieve. Ask yourself, what type of person has the results I want? Write it down specifically. Second, collect evidence for your new identity through small actions. Want to be a writer? Write for 5 minutes today. That's evidence. Third, use identity language. Replace "I'm trying to" with "I'm the type of person who." For instance, instead of saying, "I'm trying to eat healthier," say, "I'm someone who nourishes their body." Fourth, avoid the mistake of waiting to earn your new identity. You don't become an athlete after getting fit. You become an athlete by acting like one now. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to become confident," start saying, "I'm someone who speaks up in meetings," and do it once this week. But identity alone isn't enough. You also need to upgrade how you process failure. This brings me to the next crucial upgrade. Most people don't know this, but the way you interpret failure literally determines whether you become unstoppable or stay stuck forever. The failure reframe is the mental upgrade that transforms every setback into rocket fuel. Unstoppable people don't experience less failure. They've just reprogrammed how their brain categorizes it. Where average people see evidence of inadequacy, elite performers see data. Where most people feel shame, champions feel curiosity. It's not positive thinking, it's analytical thinking applied to outcomes. Angela Duckworth's research at UPenn found that grit, the ability to persist after failure, is the single greatest predictor of success, more than IQ or talent. This works because your brain's reticular activating system, or RAS, filters reality based on your beliefs. If you believe failure means you're inadequate, your RAS will find evidence everywhere, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when you reframe failure as feedback, your RAS starts noticing opportunities and solutions instead. Neuroscience shows this literally changes which neural pathways get strengthened. First, after any setback, ask these 3 questions. What did I learn? What will I do differently? How does this make me stronger? Write the answers down. Second, create a failure resume documenting every major setback and the lesson it taught you. Review it monthly to see patterns and growth. Third, use the scientist mindset. Treat every action as an experiment, not a test of your worth. Experiments don't fail, they produce results. Fourth, avoid the trap of fake positivity. Don't pretend failure doesn't hurt. Acknowledge the pain, extract the lesson, then move forward. For instance, instead of thinking I failed that presentation, I'm terrible at public speaking, think that presentation revealed I need more practice with eye contact. Next time, I'll rehearse looking at 3 specific audience members. Now let's talk about something even more powerful. Because reframing failure only works if you're actually taking action, and that requires upgrading your decision-making speed. This next one is crucial, because hesitation is where dreams go to die. The 1-0. Second rule is a mental upgrade that eliminates overthinking by giving yourself exactly 10 seconds to act on any positive impulse before your brain talks you out of it. The moment you have an instinct to do something productive, make that call, start that workout, speak up in that meeting, you count backward from 10 and physically move before hitting 0. It's a circuit breaker for your brain's fear response. Mel Robbins' research on the 5-second rule, we've extended it to 10 for practical application, reveals that your prefrontal cortex, the decision-making center, has a 5-10-second window before your limbic system, fear center, hijacks control and creates justifications for inaction. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio discovered that emotions drive 95% of decisions, and fear is the fastest emotion. By acting within 10 seconds, you bypass the fear response entirely. Your body moves before your brain can construct elaborate excuses. Navy SEALs use a similar principle called immediate action drills, pre-programmed responses that override hesitation. First, recognize the activation moment, that brief second when you feel the impulse to do something growth-oriented. Second, the instant you feel it, count backward, 10, 9, 8, out loud if possible. Third, when you hit 0, physically move your body. Stand up, grab your phone, open your laptop, any movement that starts the action. Fourth, practice this on low-stakes decisions first, feeling like texting a friend. 10-second rule. Want to drink water? 10-second rule. Build the habit pattern. Fifth, avoid the mistake of negotiating with yourself during the countdown. The countdown replaces thinking. For instance, instead of lying in bed thinking, I should work out, but I'm tired, maybe tomorrow, count 10, 9, 8, and swing your legs out of bed before you hit 0. Decision made, momentum started, but taking action is only half the equation. You also need to upgrade how you sustain that action. Which brings me to the next secret. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I barely have energy to get through the day. Energy architecture is the practice of intentionally designing your environment and schedule around your natural energy cycles instead of fighting against them. Unstoppable people don't have more energy. They strategically allocate the energy they have. They identify their peak performance windows and protect them fiercely for their most important work. Everything else gets scheduled around those sacred blocks. Research from Daniel Pink's book shows that human energy follows predictable patterns. Most people experience peak cognitive performance 2-4 hours after waking, a post-lunch dip around 2-3 p.m., and a recovery period in late afternoon. Your circadian rhythm affects everything from decision-making to creativity to willpower. By aligning your most challenging tasks with your biological peak times, you're essentially giving yourself a 50% performance boost without additional effort. It's not about working harder. It's about working with your biology, not against it. First, track your energy for 1 week. Every 2 hours, rate your mental clarity, focus, and motivation from 1-1-0. Identify patterns. Second, once you know your peak hours, block them on your calendar for deep work, creative projects, strategic thinking, difficult conversations. Treat these blocks as sacred. Third, schedule shallow tasks, email, admin work, meetings during your energy troughs. Use your recovery period for learning or light planning. Fourth, protect your energy boundaries. This means saying no to morning meetings if that's your peak time, or declining late afternoon calls if you're in a trough. For instance, instead of checking email first thing in the morning when your brain is sharpest, write for 90 minutes, then handle inbox. Email during peak time. Like using a Ferrari to deliver pizza. Now here's where things get really interesting, because even with perfect energy management, you'll still hit obstacles. That's where the next upgrade becomes essential. This brings me to what might be the most counterintuitive upgrade of all. The obstacle mindset is the mental shift that transforms every problem into an advantage. It's based on the ancient Stoic principle: the obstacle is the way. The idea that the thing blocking you isn't separate from your path forward. It is the path forward. Unstoppable people don't just overcome obstacles. They actively look for them because they understand obstacles create competitive advantage. While others avoid difficulty, they run toward it, knowing it's building exactly what they need. Modern psychology calls this anti-fragility, a concept developed by Nassim Taleb, showing that certain systems don't just resist stress, they actually grow stronger from it. Your brain operates the same way. Neuroplasticity research from Michael Merzenich proves that your brain physically rewires itself most dramatically when challenged beyond its current capacity. Easy tasks maintain existing neural pathways. Difficult tasks force your brain to build new, stronger connections. This is why elite athletes seek the toughest competitions and successful entrepreneurs tackle the hardest problems. The obstacle is the upgrade mechanism. First, when you encounter any obstacle, pause and ask, how is this perfect? This question forces your brain out of victim mode into problem-solving mode. Second, identify the specific skill this obstacle is forcing you to develop. Can't get funding? You're learning sales and persuasion? Team member quit? You're learning hiring and leadership. Name the skill explicitly. Third, keep an obstacle inventory, a list of every major challenge you've overcome and the capability it built. Review it when facing new obstacles to remind yourself you've always found a way. Fourth, avoid the mistake of waiting for obstacles to disappear. They won't. Your job isn't to eliminate obstacles. It's to become someone for whom those obstacles are small. For instance, instead of thinking I can't launch my business until I have more money, think, the money constraint is forcing me to learn lean startup principles, which will make me a better entrepreneur than if I had unlimited funds. And finally, let me share the most powerful upgrade that ties everything together. Here's the game changer most people never discover. Progress isn't automatic. It requires deliberate reflection. The Relentless Review is a daily and weekly practice of systematically examining what's working, what's not, and what needs adjustment. Unstoppable people don't just work hard, they work with awareness. They build feedback loops into everything they do. This isn't journaling about feelings. It's ruthless analysis of actions, outcomes, and patterns. It's treating yourself like a high-performance machine that requires regular diagnostics. Harvard Business School research on learning shows that people who spend 15 minutes at the end of the day reflecting on lessons learned perform 23% better than those who don't. This works because reflection activates your brain's consolidation process, the mechanism that turns experience into wisdom. Without reflection, you just accumulate experiences. With reflection, you extract principles. Neuroscience reveals that the act of articulating what you learned creates stronger memory encoding and pattern recognition. You're essentially programming yourself for better future decisions. First, implement a daily review ritual. Every evening, spend 10 minutes answering 3 questions. What worked today? What didn't work? Differently tomorrow. Write the answers. Second, conduct a weekly review every Sunday. Assess progress on major goals. Identify bottlenecks. Adjust strategies. Block 30 minutes for this. It's sacred time. Third, track key metrics. Whatever you're trying to improve, measure it. Revenue, workouts completed, pages written, conversations initiated. You can't upgrade what you don't measure. Fourth, share your reviews with an accountability partner monthly. External accountability multiplies effectiveness. For instance, instead of just trying harder when a business quarter underperforms, conduct a relentless review. Analyze which activities produced results, which were time sinks, which clients were ideal versus problematic, then systematically do more of what worked and eliminate what didn't. You've already invested this much time watching. So let me tie this all together. Let's quickly review the 6 mental upgrades that make you unstoppable. Number 1. The identity shift. Become the person who has what you want. Don't just chase the goal. Number 2, the failure reframe. Treat setbacks as data, not as evidence of inadequacy. Number 3, the 1-0. Second rule. Act on positive impulses within 10 seconds before fear hijacks you. Number 4, the energy architecture. Design your schedule around your biological peak performance times. Number 5, the obstacle mindset. Recognize that obstacles aren't blocking your path. They are the path. Number 6, the relentless review. Systematically reflect on what's working and what needs adjustment. Remember, becoming unstoppable isn't about doing more. It's about upgrading your mental operating system. You have everything you need right now. You just need to install better software. The only difference between someone stuck and someone unstoppable is these 6 mental upgrades. Don't wait until you feel ready, until circumstance. Nesses are perfect until you have more time or resources. None of that is coming. Start with just one upgrade today. Pick the one that resonated most. Maybe it's the identity shift or the 1-0. Second rule, install that upgrade this week. I promise you, 90 days from now you won't recognize the person you were before this upgrade. You'll look back and realize this was the turning point. If you found this valuable, hit that like button so more people can discover these mental upgrades. Subscribe for more psychology-backed self-improvement content. I break down peak performance science every week. Drop a comment telling me which upgrade you're installing first, or share which one hit hardest for you. I read every comment. And if you want to learn the daily habits that compound these upgrades, check out my video on the 5 a.m. routine that changed my life. It's the perfect complement to what you just learned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.